Are you ready? Stand by.
Welcome to the Three Gun Show, brought to you by Armalite. This is episode 145, and I'm your host, Dave Hartman. My guests this week are Minnesota Three Gunners turned JP Rifle employees, James Leffler and Dustin Sanchez. But before we get into the interview, a couple things. Man, I'm almost to the point where I need to put like a news segment together just on Three Gun Show stuff. We have so much going on. So first, I'll cut a couple things out and tell you about them next week. But first, I've mentioned it a few times that I started a Patreon account. What Patreon does is it allows you as an individual to support me as a creator directly without the need of an intermediary like a network or something like that. So if you choose to support the Three Gun Show monetarily using Patreon, there are multiple levels, each with their own reward. One of those levels is a private Facebook group. Another gets you access to match recons and bonus content. And there's a bunch of other great rewards as well. These match recon episodes will be available through Patreon exclusively for the first 90 days for supporters of the Three Gun Show. I just put out the very first match recon available only to patrons, and it is for the Three Gun Nation Pro match from the perspective of Adam Maxwell. And here's a little taste of what we talked about.
So you know, there was the added. I mean, it's probably the most stressful shooting, you know, in the three gun world that you'll do. As a competitive person, you know, you want to win, right? Mm-hmm. So going up against the talent that you have to go up against in the Pro Series is intimidating enough. And then to do it in front of all my family and friends on my home range, live and in person, was a bit intimidating.
Yeah. And
also, while I'm home here, I mean, like I'm one of the match directors at this club. I was not in charge, or I was not involved with the running of the Three Gun Nation Regional, but I was the communicator between
liaison.
Yeah, I was the liaison between the club and Three Gun Nation and whatnot. So, you know, when these emails were being exchanged, it's like, am I going to be the guy that they're coming up to ask where are the zip ties? Mm-hmm. You know, because we had a wall blow over. like, you know, I know there's this other static that's going to be going on if I'm at home,
right?
Being at my home range. Whereas if I go somewhere else, it's very easy for me to be like, I'm here for one reason, and one reason only.
If you like content like this, you can choose to support the Three Gun Show using Patreon. You can do so at patreon.com/threegunshow. That's patreon.com/threegunshow. And if you do, I greatly appreciate it. Also of note, we're giving away a Breda B12i 3-gun ready shotgun with a Dissident Arms Briley Manufacturing carbon fiber magazine tube and charging handle. Now, this is a pretty cool story. So a couple weeks ago at the Colorado Three Gun Championship, I hosted a shotgun side match that was open to the public. Jeff at Breda USA sent us one of the new 3-gun ready shotguns that you heard about in episode 120 for people to use if they didn't have their own shotgun, which totally cool, right? Dissident Arms sent us a Briley carbon fiber extension tube and a charging handle, so we had a ready-to-go 3-gun shotgun with like 12 rounds capacity for people to try out. Now, we put about 500 rounds through the shotgun that weekend, and now we're giving it away on the show. So here's how you can win. Go to 3gunshow.com/Breda, BREDA. Number 2, purchase a membership into the 3-Gun Show Prize Club by clicking the donate button and sending $39. And you can do this as many times as you want. Number 3, join the Facebook group at the link. Number 4, we will put you on a list of 39 people inside the Facebook group, 39 slots that is. So you'll have a 1 in 39 chance of winning. Number 5, once all memberships have been purchased and the list is filled, we will draw a random number from random.org, and the lucky person with that number will win the shotgun. And number 6, it will then be shipped from Elite Firearms and Training in Colorado Springs to the FFL of your choice. So, 2 things for you to do before listening to the rest of the show. Just pause right here. Actually, pause in a minute. Number 1, go to patreon.com/3gunshow. And number 2, go to 3gunshow.com/Breda, BREDA. And whichever one of those you do, good luck, and both support the show, so thank you. Now on to this week's podcast. Dustin and James invited me out to JP Rifles when I was there for the Minnesota Tri-Gun. It was really cool to see all the activity and all the rifles being built. JP is a custom rifle shop, and it seemed that no 2 rifles I saw were exactly the same. We break down what it's like to work at one of the coolest shops in Minnesota, making shooting your livelihood and more. Show notes can be found at 3gunshow.com/episode 145. Now enjoy this one with Dustin Sanchez and James Leffler. Guys, welcome to the 3-Gun Show.
Nice to have us.
Thanks for having us.
I'm kind of excited, man. We're sitting in the middle of JP Enterprises, and there's tons of great rifles around, and kind of feel special that I'm here.
It's a little different. I mean, it's kind of like the 3-Gun Mecca a little bit.
Yeah. So when I first got started, the JP rifles were a lot of what people shot back in Colorado, and then of course you have the storied Rocky Mountain 3-gun.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and then I had John on the podcast, which was really cool. So I got to hear like the story of everything, and so actually like being here is like pretty neat. Pretty pumped.
Yeah.
It's an awesome place to work. I've been here for a couple of years, and I can think kind of on one hand the number of times it's actually felt like work. So we just kind of have fun, and they happen to pay us. So don't tell anybody, but
it's like my first day here. Like you open the door and you have no idea what you're gonna expect because the doors here don't get open that much, right? For outsiders come in. So open the door, and at the time we had Mel. I don't know if you ever met Mel, but he's like, dude, the guy was almost 7 foot tall, like just
350.
Yeah, he was just a big guy. Like he swallowed that whole door. And he opens the door. And he's like, "What are you doing here?" And I'm like, dude, it's my first day. I'm here to see Tyson." "Okay, come on in." I'm like, "Oh, dude, this is crazy."
Got a bouncer.
Very large.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, everything's larger than life here. So.
Yeah, for sure. Well, guys, I want to get into to JP life and kind of talk about the shop and the atmosphere, because we've been here a couple hours and having a good time, and I think it's pretty unique. So, James, let's start with you. Give us an idea of who you are off the range, and then how you got into 3-gun.
So, off the range, like cars, video games, guns. I've been used to do circle track stuff like you, Star Wars, yes. I did circle track stuff, so a little bit of a racing background, which kind of seems to be a common theme through your show.
Yeah.
Kind of stumble on that quite often.
A lot of engineers, a lot of former racers.
Yeah. So I did that for a long time. The old man got older. I got a house, got married, just didn't have time for it anymore. Such a grind, that 22 weeks during the summer. So got into something different. So now instead of racing cars, race guns. Got into shooting. I worked at a gun club when I was a shotgun gun club when I was a teenager. Kind of fell away from it and then came back. Started shooting pistols, and then punching holes in paper at the range got boring. So wanted to do something with a little bit of a goal, competitive aspect. Tried a steel challenge match, kind of a outlaw one, and then that became huge and kind of fell into USPSA, and then from there to 3-gun, and down the rabbit hole I went. And then met a lot of the guys from JP at matches, saw how cool of a place they were, and then opportunity came up to work here, and so I took it, and it's been awesome ever since. So it's hard to argue with, but I don't know. It's just kind of a dream a little bit,
Yeah.
Like I say, it doesn't seem like work. We have the team mentality here is a big deal. It really is a team where we get stuff done, but we have fun while we're doing it. So
awesome. I love that.
It's exciting. It's awesome.
Yeah. Well, Dustin, you're the new guy here.
I am. Yeah, still to this day, I'm the new guy.
To this day?
Yeah, I mean, I've been here over a year now.
Oh, okay.
And so on the shop side, I'm the new guy.
Right.
So yeah, I still get the new guy jokes pulled on me and stuff like that.
Right on. Well,
yeah.
Dustin, give us an idea about your background and who you are off the range as well.
Yeah. So off the range, I'm a father. I have 4 little girls, and a husband. And then I do massage therapy and things like that on the side. I actually owned a business doing massage therapy, and when JP called, I just dropped everything and came here. But yeah, you know, just kind of doing massage therapy, and I was hanging out with Nathan Payne. Him and I met doing some MMA, and our career paths both changed around the same time, and we didn't know what we were going to do to hang out and, you know, kill some time. And he was like, oh, I'm going to go shoot a 3-gun match with my dad, which is Brian Payne. And he's like, you want to go with me? I was like, yeah, let's do it. You know, never done it before. You know, you show up and borrowing gear like everybody else has when they first started in 3-gun, you know, and went from MMA to doing some 3-gun and kept doing massage. And then one day Brian called me and was, hey, you know, so it looks like JP's interested in bringing somebody else on. You interested in interviewing? So like on a Thursday, I was like, yeah, let's do it. So I came in on a Friday. They offered me a job then, and I had to do a background check. And I was like, yeah, that's cool. So I filled it out over the weekend. And then Monday, I get a phone call from Tyson, who's my boss, and he's like, yeah, you know, I really wanted to offer you a job, but unfortunately, you have like 4 felonies, and I can't hire you. You know, I'm in the middle of a grocery store with my daughter, and I stop, and I'm like, 4 felonies, like. I didn't care. I didn't get the job at JP. I'm like, how do I have 4 felonies? Like,
I don't even remember one.
Right. I should be in prison.
Mistake.
Right
this
now.
is a mistake made. This is like not me.
You know how many people with my last name Sanchez are out there? That's got to be somebody else, you know. But no, and then, you know, he starts messing with me, and so yeah, I mean, that was kind of it. Just been 3-gunning, and
so you were FNG before you were FNG.
Yeah,
pretty much.
Yeah, and it's just kind of been like that ever since, you know, just having a good time here at JP and going out and shooting and, you know, hanging out with the guy who kind of got me into 3-gun, which was Brian Payne, and his son Nathan. It's still the same way for me.
Yeah.
Shoot and train with those guys every chance I get.
So do you guys? You guys are you and Brian workbenches face each other?
Yeah.
Is it just like all 3-gun all the time, or
no?
Payne's off the 3-gun train. He's PRS now.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, he's a PRS.
So he's trying
shooter.
to convert the rest of the shop. He's got one of the gunsmith, Adrian, shoots PRS with him, as well as one of the salesmen.
Yeah.
2 of the salesmen.
Got my wife into it.
Yep.
She left 3-gun to go do some PRS now.
So now he's trying to convert us a well town a little bit. Like, you know, have the beauty of the shot. You can craft all your loads, do all this stuff, and like, I don't know, I like running around with a shotgun. Sanchez and I, our true loves are really shotgun.
Yeah. Yeah, you know, the crafting the load part of it does not appeal to me whatsoever. Like, I'm an ammo purchaser.
Yep.
And ammo companies love me, but like I look at loading ammunition for 3-gun as like another hobby that I don't need to divert myself on, because there's so much to learn in 3-gun as itself, you know. Very true.
You know, it could take away cutting the dry fire time and other
Well,
stuff you could be doing.
Yeah.
Well, Payne still does his dry fire with the PRS rifle, and
Absolutely.
I put some drills together for my wife to do some dry fire with her PRS rifle, and I'll do the same thing. You know, I got that LRP-07 ultralight, so I'll do some dry fire drills as the same kind of drills I'm having my wife do for PRS, because it transfers over into to 3-gun. So
let's get into good solid positions, positional shooting, very, very important. Working with barricades, awkward shooting positions, which, as you saw, you know, matches all the time. You know, match directors are trying to push you and do things to you to make it uncomfortable, make that shot challenging. So the more you can do to overcome that, the better.
Yeah.
But getting back to like the whole loading your ammo, you sit here and listen to. So I stare at Payne all day, who, you know, as everybody knows, he's got the best hair in 3-gun. Has been the
beautiful
kind
man.
of right. And then next to me is Adrian, who's the head gunsmith here at JP, and him and Payne, all they do is talk about reloading for PRS. So you're sitting there and you can't help but to be like, oh man, this actually sounds cool to go home and develop a load for this. And then you're like, I don't have any of the equipment, right? So then, like, last night when I was on my way home, I'm talking to my friend Sean Nelson, and he's like, oh yeah, just come over here and we'll load some stuff up for you. And I'm like, yeah, that sounds awesome. And I'm like, but I still have to go do all the work.
Yeah, now you got to go out and shoot it, group it.
Yeah.
Decide, like, you know, do you want to put more powder in, less powder in? I mean, I don't even know. So
there's a lot to it. Especially just, you know, so much knowledge flows through this shop, and just constant talking and just learn through osmosis all the time, pick stuff up. It's kind of like different calibers and all the different options that happen in PRS, choosing which stuff you could do, and then seeing some of that translate over to 3-gun, figuring stuff out like there. So
that's the part I like about PRS as like you know, an additional thing that you can go and do, is that the rifle is so important in 3-gun, especially like in the southern states and the western states, when you get like 450-yard targets multiple times from awkward positions. That PRS, the work that you do in that, even if it's a different caliber, definitely helps out.
Yeah. Well, and the other part too is like a lot of things people comment on is 3-gun matches. The part that is like they seem like the weakest because you don't get to practice is the long range shooting. So to be able to work on that stuff and work on hitting a small target at distance, PRS matches, especially with the introduction of the gas gun series, stuff like that, it's a good opportunity in a stuff where you're not feeling the pressure to perform in a 3-gun match. You're just out having quote unquote fun, or just as a way to get experience behind your gun with your ammo and your load and knowing you're dope at distance. It's a good way to do it. So they're talking about starting some of that PRS stuff up here, and I'm kind of interested in dabbling it just for that experience alone, so I can travel somewhere and I don't feel over my head shooting out to 800. A lot of times people go to matches like, oh, we're shooting out to 600. It's like, cool, I've never done that before. Sometimes the first time I'm going to do it is on the clock.
I'm going to punch it into street lock and hopefully
go
that
there.
works.
I was like, I think this is the chrono of my load. We'll find out. So it's not stuff you want to learn on the clock. So it's a good way to do it, and that aspect of it appeals to me.
Yeah, I like that part of it as well, and the the confidence that you get doing it. Plus, with the like you said, with the gas gun series, you can actually shoot 223, so
Absolutely.
maximum of like 77 grain, which is cool to be able to use your own rig and maybe just put like a bipod on it or something like that.
So one of the salesmen here, he shoots 3-gun with us, and was actually on the 3-man team with us, Andre, part of the team that we won. And then on weekends that there's a PRS match, he'll take his 1-4 off, and then he'll strap on his big glass, and then go out, shoot PRS, and then take it off and put his 1-4 back on and go shoot 3-gun. Yeah. It's the same 18-inch 223 gun. He makes hits out to 600, 700, 800 with it. So that's kind of cool. It shows the versatility of the JP. And, when you're shooting a 3-gun rifle that's half MOA, and then you go to 3-gun, go to PRS, it immediately transits over, and it really helps him out. I mean, he likes shooting it just as kind of like a cross-training type of deal.
Well, that was like Nathan Payne needed to get some trigger time shooting long range.
So this was prior to Missouri, yeah.
Yeah, he went to a PRS match with his dad. He just ran his 1x6 Razor on there. Shot. I think he gave up at the 800-yard mark. It was just, I think the drop was
becomes
too much,
tough, especially because PRS, you're not shooting like us, where you're shooting 12 or 16-inch targets at distance. They're shooting 4-inch targets, which becomes much different animal. But
plus with us, when you miss, it's just like
absolutely.
I think it counts in PRS or something.
Yeah, they usually have limited round
counts.
Well,
I learned this past weekend at the Tri-Gun, shooting heavy metal, it counts too. 20, limited to 20 rounds.
You can count to 20 in a line really fast, it turns out.
And you're like $1, $2. So you're starting to add up when you start missing.
Yeah, for sure. Well, and I shoot the Nexus 77 grain, and it's super awesome round, but when you're shooting, that is your precision load, right? And now you want to make every hit count.
Absolutely.
Right. Especially for the longer targets.
If they do that, match directors love to do it, where they put the long range, and then they put hoser paper, and then long range. You're like, well, do I want to save a mag change and burn a bunch of ammo at some paper, or do I want to stagger and candy cane my magazine?
Yeah, now you're mix loading your magazines.
So at Missouri, I'm not going to say who it was, but when we were at Missouri 3-Gun Championship earlier this year, they had a long-range stage, and there was some hoser rounds. And one of the guys in our squad was like, I'm not going to burn through my hoser or my precision round on this hoser stuff. So he ran 2 coupled mags together, one for hoser, one for precision, and he shot, and then he had to do the whole mag change, transfer over, and then, his first shot was just hoser, and then it went to the precision rounds, and I was just laughing because I'm like, wow, dude, like, how long did it take you to do a mag change as you're trying to transition into that position just to save how much?
$2 or whatever.
Yeah, how
you're
much
paying, how much to get down here.
Yeah.
You spent that much on lunch this morning.
Yeah,
that's a good point when you think about it that way.
So I ran my 55 grain that whole, the whole stage. I was like, dude, it's a 500-yard shot. I'm just gonna run 55 grain, and everybody's giving me a hard time. And I think I had one of the top. Actually, I think I actually beat everybody in our squad running limited, running 55 grain. And I got done. I looked right at him. I was like, boy, glad I didn't waste my precision rounds on this one.
I actually did something different. So in the Tri-Gun we had. Let's see, we had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 targets that were 275, or no, 175, 275, and 375, right? Yeah. And the group I got out of my blaster ammo I was not really excited about when I was grouping it. But I'm like, it's good enough for paper. But so what I did was I took a 40-round magazine, put 30 rounds of blaster in there, and 10 rounds of 77 grade Nexus on top. And like, all right, well, I get 10 chances.
Absolutely.
And then I screwed up because I forgot we had those 2 papers inside the car.
Oh, yeah, that's right. So
your first 2 shots were right there.
Yeah, I was like, da-da. Like, okay, well, now I only have.
So did you straddle the A-frame, the A-pillar there, or did you go all the way into the?
Neither. I just sat side saddle on it.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, I just sat side saddle and pressed the mag well into the roof, and it worked out really well.
Okay.
First round hit on 375, but unfortunately they were looking at the 175-yard target. So
yeah, that'll happen.
Yeah,
oopsies. We didn't have a talk. We should have had a talk.
Yeah, always got to have that talk.
Yeah, they're very clear about us. They're like, hey, tell us the order and all this stuff when we came up to RO.
Well, that's why, because I shot in the RO shoot, and so it was one of those where we didn't have a discussion. They just assumed everyone would start on the short and go short and go far. But I always like to start on. I mean, if there's only one far target and the other ones are 275, I might as well while I'm
getting situated.
I tend to hold my breath. So while I can still see and I haven't blacked out, I will shoot that far target.
Always a good plan.
Dude, I always change mine when I get up there. Like every match, it doesn't matter. Sometimes I shoot right to left. Sometimes I shoot left to right, and then sometimes I start like I'm gonna shoot farthest out and work my way in. Like I think it's when I get up there, it depends on how I feel.
Yeah, same here. And with that only being 7 targets, then I wanted to go far to near and then work in. When we were in Texas, we shot like an array of, I want to say it was like 15 targets out to 600 and then 15 targets out to 500, and it was in a V. And so that I started near to far because it was really windy, and so I wanted to get the low-hanging fruit as I was coming out, and then try on the far one rather than just go blind and try to get your call.
Going to war with something.
Yes.
Is this the one where you guys were like holding almost completely off on your optic?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. We were shooting a full-size IPSC at 600, and I was holding like I think an IPSC and a half to the left. And just zinging it right in there, curving the bullet.
Yeah. So this is a funny story. Shows my inexperience with shooting long range. So around here, we only shooting far is 300 yards, and occasion I think I shot once out to 400. And that was a single target, and then even then we shoot. It's kind of like a shrouded shooting lane on a range. So
there's no wind.
No, so we went up to Rocky Mountain. That plays into this. So we went up to Rocky Mountain. We're shooting, and there's this one stage. The last target was this massive target. It's 500 yards, but it's it's the size of you're shooting a car hood or something like that. It's just a huge steel. And so I'm just shooting it, and I'm like proned out. I got a really good position. I shot the rest of the steel. That all went well. I could shoot 12-inch plates. I'm like, okay, I'll shoot this 500 because I've never shot this far. This will be awesome. So I'm taking like 3 or 4 shots at it. Nothing. I'm like, man, I know my hold. I know my distance. I know what should be happening here. So I'm pulling the trigger again. And I'm like, nothing. I'm like, all right, I just give up, and I unloaded, show cleared. And I get done, and I'm walking back to put my gear away, and one of my squad mates goes, man, it's really windy here. I'm like, and it just clicked. I'm like, holy shnikes, I didn't even, you don't even think to hold about wind. I'm like, oh, I didn't. And it just shows you how much little I knew about shooting long range. It never compensate for wind. You just, 200 yards, it doesn't matter. So you just hold on plate, and I'm like,
yeah, exactly.
Dude,
I feel like a dummy.
My first major was Blue Ridge. And we squatted up with the Army Marksman's unit. And so there's this one range, one of the stages you had to shoot long range. And dude, that wind is blowing. And I'm like, I think I'm the second shooter up. I have no idea what's going on. I've never shot anything like that. And I'm shooting, and I couldn't hit anything right in there. Daniel Horner shoots right behind me. And he gets up there, man, he just smoked that whole stage down. You're like, I don't get it, man. Like,
the ability to call wind is a huge asset in long-range shooting. Even the distances that we call long range, because we're shooting such a small projectile that doesn't really cut the wind very well.
Quite a bit,
yeah.
But it definitely makes you think, like we were saying here, for us to actually get out and shoot and not, and actually be able to get some wind, so we can learn that. I mean, it's pretty difficult.
But the cool thing is, so that's one of the best benefit opportunities of working at JP. If you want time off to go shoot a match, no questions asked. Like, yes, you can absolutely go shoot a match. There's lots of the weekly matches. You shot the weekly 3-gun match held this week at Forest Lake, which is only 10-15 minutes from here. If you want time off to go to that and want to leave early and punch out, absolutely. They are more than happy to have you go out and shoot matches, which is cool. So
yeah, that's really
cool. We're very
cool.
lucky.
Yeah, and there's a lot of cool opportunities, like having the opportunity to go out to Rocky Mountain last year and work and shoot with the ROs and then work the booth the rest of the match. I mean, that was a crazy match that I'd never shot before, and just seeing something like that and going around and experiencing the different flavors and opportunities. And luckily, the cool thing is that JP sponsors enough matches around you have the opportunity, if you so choose, to go and shoot some of those matches and kind of either get a slot or have an opportunity to get into matches. And that is really awesome facet of working here. So
yeah, that is pretty cool. And the venue at Rocky Mountain, the NRA Winnington Center, is just absolutely incredible.
That place was cool.
To be able to do that and have the company support you,
absolutely, that was
pretty unique.
It was a cool week to be out there. I mean, we were out there for a while, and you're working long days, working the match and stuff like that, and then shooting that in a compressed format. I mean, those stages.
Yeah.
I mean, out here is a 180-second par time, and then you get out there and they're like, "Oh, this par time on this is 360 seconds." It's like, I didn't even know there's a thing. Does the timer go up that high?
Yeah.
So,
well, I was at Blue Ridge. I did the same thing. I was like, really, 360 seconds, and then I timed out on a stage. I'm like, wow.
Yeah.
Well, once you do Blue Ridge, stages, and you get done, you're like, holy cow!
Yeah.
Like that was really
exciting.
Really, yeah, exciting.
Difficult.
But you're like, that was really long. Wow! Like, let's do it again. Right?
Yeah.
Like that was. I mean, it was awesome. That was really fun.
Yeah, I'm excited. I'm going to shoot that this year. So, although.
Yeah, the three stages I shot were really fun.
That's right.
Good time.
That little bit of stump that got
It wasn't a little bit of stump, buddy. It was a whole 2011 mag. Actually, that story grows every time I tell it. But
well, you saw it again this year, right?
Someone took a picture of it and tagged me in it.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, we didn't. So I went to the team match, and we didn't actually shoot on that area. But yeah, they have not removed it. So,
dude, when I was down there, we had a guy DQ in front of me. He tripped over looked like a tree lane that was growing sideways in the middle of the path, and he got DQ'd. And I think I went a couple shooters after him. First time I'd ever had to deal with a sling.
Oh yeah,
it was on my shotgun.
Yep.
And I'm shooting, and I started with the rifle, shoot that. Everything's going fine. Pull my pistol, shoot with my pistol, and as I'm running, like, something's catching me from behind. I'm like, what's going on? And it's like every step just jerking me backwards. And I'm like, what is going on? It wasn't until I dropped my pistol.
On the ground?
Dude, my barrel hit every rock. Just running down there. And I just got my shotgun powder coated, but this year, before Cerakoted, but before then, I still had the marks on that barrel from there, and Nathan and his dad never let me live that down, dude.
Of course not.
Oh yeah, they tell me, oh, you remember that time Dustin drug his barrel like the entire stage on the rocks? He's laughing right now.
No, he's not listening to this.
So.
But yeah, in the AMU, I also shot Blue Ridge, and I believe it was Joel Turner fell on that same stump that I fell on.
Oh, that's not good.
And then Chris Sereno's wife, her name escapes me, fell on the same stump. So 3 people in the same match, but Joel actually had his pistol bungeed in.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so he didn't lose his gun like I did. So
yeah,
Dude, I
animal.
thought I was going home early this week on stage 9.
Okay.
which one was stage 9?
Stage 9 is where you started with the shotgun.
Shoot the slugs.
And then you had to shoot the slugs, and then you dumped the shotgun, took off running, and your rifle was holstered. So you unholstered your rifle, and you had to shoot over the port, in between the walls, and then shoot under the port, and then grab your pistol and shoot through the car. So I shoot my shotgun pretty good, dump it, took off running. I'm trying to grab my rifle. I'm like, dude, what's going on with my rifle? Why is it not coming? And I looked down. It was catching my pistol.
Oh.
It was pulling it out of the holster. So I stopped, switched hands, slapped
back in.
slapped my pistol back in, then I unholstered. I thought I was going home.
I almost went home on that one as well. So I was shooting, dumped my shotgun, and then I went to go and sling the rifle, and I practiced it quite a bit, and so I got it out pretty quick, and I must not have been moving that fast. And so I go to grab the mag, and I go, just touch it to the mag well, and I'm like, what's that? Oh, that's that sticker. Wait, I can't charge it until then, so just drop the mag real quick, and then quick jumped across the line, and then racked it in.
Oh, nice.
So there. Arrows told me like that. Yeah, you got pretty close there. You're the first one to get the one out that fast, so I'm like, ugh. I remembered.
Nice.
Caught that thing out of the corner of my eye. So.
Yeah. On that jungle run that we did with all 3 guns, when I pulled my rifle out, go to load the magazine in, I put the magazine in and went to smack the bottom. Yep. And as soon as I let go of it to smack the bottom, it was a 40 rounder, so it just went straight out. Bullets down.
Good time.
In a mud puddle. So when I shot it, it was just like mud.
Yep.
But when you guys shot it was like standing water because it had rained the entire time we were shooting. So bullets down, so I had to strip 2 rounds out of there and then whack it on my knee. And then I look at it, and I'm like, well, that's still a lot of dirt, but we're going for it here.
Dude, my biggest fear on that stage was I was going to take off with my rifle and leave both my shoes in the mud.
Yeah.
And then be stuck because that was like my second stage.
Blair lost
stage.
a shoe in there.
Yeah, Blair from Hawkeye lost a shoe in
that's
there.
right. That's right. That was my fear. I was like, man, I got 2 more stages to shoot after this one.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to be shooting in like just wet, muddy shoes for the rest of the day.
So that stage 9 that we did with another unloaded start on the slung rifle. So that one, I get the magazine in there, holding it, whacked it on that barricade to see the magazine. Like, I'm not losing this mag again.
I like the people when they show up after a match and they got this huge bruise on their leg, and you're like, what's that from? Oh, I seated my mag with my knee. I'm like, no, like, I'm not going to do that.
Yeah. This particular magazine, I think I'm going to have to retire for unloaded starts because I even downloaded it to like 38 rounds instead of 40.
Still giving
and
you
I still wouldn't do it. So I'll have to.
It's always interesting. So speaking of that, like junior shooters who shoot, they always have weird weapon manipulation because they're trying to do stuff, big, huge mags, stuff like that doesn't exactly fit them. Mm-hmm. And when they charge off, like
kick it.
Yeah, usually some sort of knee movement or something like that, or like a shotgun, like rack it on the hip and like grab it in 2 hands or something like that to get it to rack. So.
Dude, I felt like a junior shooter grabbing those 308 mags out of my pocket to stick those in. I'm like, holy cow, go in. Like, that thing was just huge.
Yeah, Corinne Moser's famous for that too. The big bruise on the leg after shooting. Yeah, she gives it the big knee. Yeah, for sure. Well, so you guys both started shooting 3-gun before you started working at JP.
Yes, sir.
So what is it like working here, other than the them being generous with time off to go shoot a match? Is it like a kid in a candy store kind of thing?
A little bit. Or? It's kind of a blessing and a curse. The blessing is that you get to work in an awesome place and you get to see this awesome stuff every day. The bad news is you get to see this awesome stuff every day. And so you see all the stuff that you want to take home. You're like, oh, I need one of those. I need one of those. Yeah, I'm going to also need one of those as well. And then
it's like working with puppies.
Pretty much just bad news bears.
You want to adopt them all.
Yeah, hopefully one of them doesn't follow you home.
Right.
I have to go fill out a 4473 and explain that one.
That LRP07, the ultralight I'm shooting, right? So took that home. I walk in with it. My wife's like, oh, this is awesome. Picks it up, playing with it. And then she looked at me. She's like, how much is this going to cost us? I'm like, don't worry about it. Just don't. It's best if you don't ask questions. But see, she used to work at Arnzen. So she knows the pricing and everything. So it's really hard for me to get anything. Yeah.
At least when he dies, she actually is going to sell him what he told her
to
pay for him.
So exactly.
It's good news there.
I think, working at JP, it's different. Like you show up and there's a lot of pride because we know what's went into JP before we were here. Mm-hmm. And then you see the guys out there that represent JP and people who just love our products and keep buying them and shooting them. So there's, when you're heading here, there's a lot of pride. Like when I'm driving up here, there's a lot of pride. But it goes more than that because, we show up at Arms and Arms, something like that, and anybody's asking a question about a JP and we're there, the employees automatically send them to us.
Yeah. Nice.
So it's just, really the only thing I'd say is everywhere I go, there's just a lot of pride in the shooting community. I work at JP.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, when I do quality control and then I box up the rifles, man, that's awesome because everyone I put in a box, someone's going to be excited when they open that up. Yeah. That's awesome. I mean,
little bundle of joy that you're sending out.
I'm making somebody's day every time I close up one of those boxes. That's an awesome feeling, And there's not, working previous to here, it's like, yeah, you go to work and it's good, and you feel good about that when you get a good day's work and you look back at what you did. But, man, like, have a long vacation, like the vacation coming up here for the 4th of July. Like, I get excited and antsy to come back to work because I want to come here and, help out and get stuff done and, put out the best product that we can.
We're like, this past weekend's match, people are like, oh, blah, 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 this and all, blah, 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 blah. When I go back to work, I'm like, yeah, dude, I got it rough. I'm going to have to go back and build one of you guys at JP.
Yeah, exactly.
And they're like, oh, screw you. And I'm like, yeah, somebody's got to do it. It's a rough job, though.
Some days, you got to work like a big, huge order SBRs or a big order GMRs. Who knows?
Yeah.
So it's someone's got to do it. So
and then,
it's
also, like James and I started doing a lot more of the social media accounts here at JP. And people have learned that. And so instead of sending a message to, like, the JP account, sometimes they'll send us a private one on our personal accounts and saying, hey, I got my JP. I love it. Thank you very much. I'm really excited for it. I've been waiting. This is what I've been wanting for years, and I finally was able to afford it. When you get those things, it's like, This is what I do.
Cool.
This is what I
awesome.
do.
Yeah.
Or questions about stuff. They're like, hey, I'm thinking about this. Do I want this barrel profile, this barrel profile? More than help. You know,
well,
we like asking questions.
That was like this weekend. I went to walk stage 9 and to see how some of the JP workers, employees were shooting that stage. And you guys just finished, and some guy walked up to me. He's like, hey, you know, I talked to you on Instagram. I've been building my rifle. Here it is. You know, and James and I were sitting there.
That was a cool rifle.
Yeah, it was cool.
Yeah, Nick Webb's. Yeah, it was a CTR upper and lower receiver set, and it converted into a really ultralight setup. That thing was a pretty slick.
Yeah. So we started talking about that, and then Lake's thing led to other things that JP's got going on, and another build that he wants to do. You know, it's just cool. It's
the 3-gun community is awesome. So it's being involved with that and being able to interact with people. It's the best. So the more you can do that, and like Sanchez and I always say, doing the social media stuff, JP's already doing the cool stuff. All the cool, just showing people that's the fun part. To let people in a little bit on that.
You just have to like document it, right?
Yep.
Yeah, just like telling the story.
Well, it's like you're in here, right? So it's like Willy Wonka's Chocolate Factory. Everybody wants to see it in here. And so when we started doing social media and we started, leaking some of the stuff that we're doing, just throwing that out there, like, hey, here's an idea of what we do on a daily basis. Here's an idea of the rifles that are coming through. People just love that. They were like, oh, wow, like, they've never seen in here before.
Yeah.
So it was
I think, James, it was your account, your personal account, where I was like, oh, okay, so this guy works at JP, and then you just started showing cool stuff. Is just like every morning I'm like, well, I wonder what he's got.
Well, that's the cool part, too, is, we're constantly surprised because JP has a limited number of options that we have, the LRP, the GMR. But, man, the combinations that people come up with, and there's always something different. And stuff that, you read the sales order and you go through like, oh, this is going to be certain options. What is this going to look like? I don't know. I don't know if that's going to be my cup of tea. And then you put it together, it's like, wow, that looks awesome. So you get all these cool ideas and just seeing all the different things that come up in different combinations and the different way that stuff looks. I mean, you see some cool stuff, and it's like, man, if I think that's cool, like, let's just share it. And that's kind of the part where I came from, just seeing all the different options that are out there and all the different guns that look awesome.
Yeah. And sometimes James takes a picture of something, of a rifle, and I see it on Instagram. I'm like, dude, I didn't see this. It's like, who built this? Because we don't do an assembly line here. So I start the build. If I pull your paperwork, I build it from start to finish. I do everything. And then it goes to get test fired, and it comes over to quality control. So sometimes I'll see a rifle on his.
Somebody heads down in the build while someone else has got that on their bench, not really paying attention.
Yeah, so you never see it, right? And I'll see someone. I'm like, dude, James, where's that rifle? Like, I got to see this.
And you guys are like 8 yards from each other?
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
But there's stuff that comes through, and then we'll always come through, and then someone will get done, and then guy will get done, and then we rack it, so it usually makes a lot of noise. Everybody kind of looks over and sees what they built, and then sometimes it's like, see that, and then we'll come up and it kind of just pass around the shop. There's a lot of cool stuff. You see how they turn out and kind of get an idea, and then you get the idea in the back of your head, like, I'm going to have to do this pretty soon here. So.
Yeah, a lot of these rifles you were handing me, like, I felt like it's when someone hands you a baby, you like hold on tight but not too tight, and that
sometimes happens with some of the PGFs and stuff like that. So the presentation grade finish kind of stands out.
Yeah,
like, I don't want to mess this up.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, that's a lot. There's a lot of work that goes in on that one.
Pretty much.
That's a lot of hours.
Yeah, it's good stuff. So, guys, we're sitting here in the end of June. July's coming up. The 3-gun season is underway. We're moving forward with shooting matches and everything. What do you guys have on the docket for the year?
So I got quite a few matches coming up here. I'm going to shoot Area 3. I'm shooting PCC. Pretty excited about that one. Be going down there with the Arnzen shooting team. I got the Colorado Shotgun Championship, which I'm super psyched about. I haven't been there yet. You were saying they ran pretty slick matches down there. I'm excited about that one.
The Shotgun Championship's fun,
Sanchez
too.
and I are pretty gung-ho about shotgun. I'm excited that the Nordic Shotgun match is coming back here, so we'll be shooting that one as well. Got Jeff Kirkwold Memorial match that Maxwell runs. I'm pretty excited about that one as well. That's one of my favorite matches in the state here.
Cool. I'll be there for that one.
Man, ton of fun. As much fun to shoot as it is to watch it.
I can't wait.
And then shooting Blue Ridge for the first time this year. I can't think of anything else. I think that might be it.
Well, you do have a ton of matches coming up.
And then the weekly stuff in between. I'm going to try and get a bunch of PCC stuff in here coming up in the lead up to A3 so I can make a good push for that one.
Nice. How about you, Dustin?
I think I'm not shooting Area 3, so that one's
Dustin
out.
doesn't know what USPSA is.
No, I've been staying away from that game. I'm getting tempted, though.
Yeah, he's built a carry optics rig, so I'm trying to get him to come in there. So we were half tempted. So again, working in the shop, you get dumb ideas. So you see stuff come through here. So he built this Glock with a carry optics sight on it. So he put a J point on it. And I'm like, okay, you could shoot carry optics, because I was trying to convince him to talk PR or USPSA.
I want to go open.
Yeah, and so then we're like, well, let's just shoot open. And I'm like, what if you put a recoil eliminator on your pistol? I'm like, and we're like, oh, we both just lit up and we're like, oh, let's get this done.
I think I actually put a 3-port on there one day just to see what it would look like. And I'm like, yeah, like it looks cool. But I want to put an RE on there. And
well, so unfortunately, so we're all excited. We're like, oh, this is going to be the greatest thing ever. And then so we're talking to the engineers, Dave, and he's like, oh, yeah, John did that years ago. It was one of his bowling pin guns.
Yeah,
so it was a bowling pin gun. They had it all hustled out. So,
yeah. But I still think I'm going to do it. We're still playing around with that.
Before you do that, ask Josh Freilich about open Glocks.
Who's Josh Freilich?
You're shooters, man.
You mean hashtag only shoot open?
Okay, you didn't say it right, so we didn't know who that was.
Did you see the Instagram story last night?
Where he only had one dot?
I did.
Yeah, what a letdown.
Shamed him.
Yeah.
He felt so bad.
Yeah,
but he's shooting that PCC championship or whatever coming up. 3-Gun Nation, that's right. That's why I changed the rules.
Yeah.
Well, and,
so that one, I'm sorry to interrupt, but that one he was telling me that Unlimited only has like 7 shooters or something, and then the big field is in limited, so he or practical, so he wanted to shoot the big field.
Practical PCC.
Yeah.
And he's I don't know, that 2-dot thing is catching on. One of the guys around here, 2 guys around here are running it, and I'm going to run it as well.
Yeah. He pioneered that.
Yes, he did.
The Freilich dot.
Good stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, you're giving him a hard time about that. It's funny.
Yeah, forsaking his dots.
And then I think Josh is getting ready for that shotgun match.
You're going to that.
Yeah, so I just committed to that.
You're going to the Pure Gold shotgun match?
Yeah, I just committed to it last night. I went and bought 750 rounds so I can start practicing.
Nice.
But I'm a pump guy. I like shooting pump. That's all I like to shoot.
You can tell by your left arm.
Right. Yeah.
He's like one of those bowlers where like the forearm's just massive.
You wouldn't have thought that on that all shotgun stage because I got, when you came out to clearing this past week, and I was like, dude, this is a lot of work. I was breathing. I was like, this is a lot of work. But, so I'm going to do that match. And then we'll do Kirkwall. We'll do the shotgun match here. I think I'm going to go with James to Colorado and shoot that shotgun match.
Cool. Have a good time.
And then I've got to go to Rocky Mountain for JP. And so I'll go down there. I think I'm going to shoot heavy limited down there.
That'll be an adventure.
And,
heavy limited in Rocky Mountain?
Yeah.
Boy.
That's doable.
Yeah.
Ballsy.
You could do it. Well,
it's
I
awesome.
don't know. You shoot that Spitfire, you can dial them in.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Does the dial work for 308 too?
So
I mean, it's obviously different, but
I've been talking to the guys about it. It works pretty good out to a certain distance, but we're gonna hand load. Like I said, I'm gonna go hand load some stuff and figure out something that's gonna work really good with that, and see if I can dial it in and get it up pretty close. Mm-hmm. So we'll see where we're at.
All right.
Yeah. Well, I think that's it. I mean, we can shoot.
There's a monthly Minnesota 3-gun group match, which, man, some of those, like the last one we shot at Forest Lake, it was almost a mini major. Some of those stages were crazy.
Yeah, it's starting to get more like that because, you got Josh Freilich here who's designing some stages. We have Jake Latola who's designing stages, and then you have the Minnesota 3-gun group who they're always trying to find something to push us.
They are out shooting matches, too, and bringing them back and making the whole group
and
better.
they're all people that want to get better at shooting, too.
Absolutely.
So they want to give themselves super challenging matches in their locals.
So, we'll pretty much here, we can shoot every week if we wanted to.
You can shoot almost every day of the week here. Shoot USPSA or something like that.
Yeah, someone hit me up on Instagram and was like, hey, you got to come out to the local USPSA tonight because I was at the local 3-gun last night. So.
Yeah. And then there's we do tack shotgun matches here too once a month.
Yeah, those are good
and those
stuff.
are awesome. And usually Josh puts those together. Like they're done through Hawkeye Ignite, so with Mark Stevens and Adam, and then Josh Freilich usually designs a lot of those stages. So they're usually more open.
When you get those like 20 target, you get that 20 target array. You're like, oh, I see what's going on here.
Yeah.
Josh has a 25 round magazine.
And there's never an unloaded start.
No.
Because he doesn't like unloaded start. So there's never an unloaded start. You're like.
And then there's usually like at least 80 yards of movement because he likes running.
Yeah. Right, so usually I record for him. So I'm usually. And see, that's the deal. You got to tell Josh to throw out some of my videos that I've done for him when I've been videotaping him because that's pure gold right there.
Is it like Rockstar stuff?
I hashtagged every single one of his sponsors on his jersey. Come on.
The pre-show is almost worse than some guys make ready.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Oh, geez. Yeah, some of the stuff I get back on my my camera after people film me.
You got to be careful who you're handing to in your squad.
Oh,
it's just,
dude.
Here's the thing too. So when you do something on a guy's camera, that for a living does social media
Okay.
probably expect that someday that's going to see the light of day and maybe to a wider audience than you had anticipated.
Can't play with fire. Well, see, so we've run into this problem here at work. So occasionally we'll build rifles and we know the shooters, and so we have the rifle before they do.
Yeah.
Maybe videos get sent to them, maybe they don't. It's hard to say.
Yeah.
So
especially the Minnesota 3-gun group.
Yeah,
Anytime I mess with those guys,
they send rifles through here, and it's like, oh, okay.
Well, it's like somebody would be like, yeah, such and such rifles here. I'm like, where is it? This is a photo opportunity.
Awesome.
But the best video I saw was this weekend, actually. So we get done shooting. I'm sitting at the bench with Josh Tarrant. He goes, dude, check out this run. And he hands me his phone. And it's Dylan Easley. And Chris Sossin's behind him. You know which one I'm talking about?
Yeah.
So
I did see this one.
Dylan
oh, no.
did a commentary during the entire time Josh was shooting, but it was never on Josh. It was on Dylan Easley the entire time. It was the greatest. I'm like, I would personally never do that to somebody, but to see that somebody else did that.
It's good times.
Well, then you think Josh learned, right? No. The next day he gives Dylan his phone, and Dylan did the whole video in slow motion.
Oh, you're kidding.
Yeah, the pistol run. The whole thing was done in slow motion of Josh.
Oh, my God. That's awesome.
And we're like, dude, that one's on you, Josh. Like, you didn't learn your lesson the first
twice.
time?
That's your own fault.
Yeah.
Speaking of video, one of the funnier things that I've seen is Rick Birdsall had a GoPro on the bottom of his shotgun.
All right.
This is a couple years ago when, like, quad loading, it wasn't just getting started, but, like,
It's relatively new.
The hot thing was to throw videos of your quad load, right?
Yep.
So Birdsall's like, well, you can do it in your basement, but you got to do it on the range or something like that. And so he does the beep, load 4, load 8, whatever it was, pull it up, take a shot, and then shows the timer on the GoPro. And it was a cool view, right? Because the GoPro is mounted under there, and now you're looking at the loading port. And then he throws it on Facebook, and Jesse Tischhauser comments, I loved how you added the slow motion to the video.
He would.
Yeah. It was like, oh, that was a good burn.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
That's good stuff right there.
Yeah. Well, guys, appreciate you giving me the time to come by and disrupt your day and show me some cool stuff. And
well, you've been seeing cool stuff around the country, and we can't let you not see this place.
Yeah,
it's too cool not to show.
Well, dude, you both reached out to me on Instagram or Facebook or wherever it was, and so I appreciate the invite, and thank you for doing so. And I guess I probably should have mentioned at the beginning that we're sitting in a shop, so the whirring is a mill and people actually doing work in the background.
Yeah,
work never stops at JP.
We're still building JPs right now.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Still being done.
Yeah, hand me that hammer.
Absolutely. I don't know if you get that hammer.
Oh.
Yeah.
I got to look at it later.
We got
to
watch that new employee video and see if it worked.
Yeah, guys. So anyway, thank you for having me here. This has been a lot of fun.
Absolutely.
And enjoyed shooting some 3-gun in Minnesota. It's cool to see what you have, and I'm going to see you guys in just a couple months here at the Kirkwall match.
Absolutely. I think we got one of the best shooting. I haven't traveled around too much. You have. I think we have one of the best shooting communities in the nation. I mean, it's just everybody helps each other get better. We put on awesome matches. Everybody works together. I mean, it's awesome.
Yeah, it's a fun environment to be involved in.
Yeah, have you had a good trip here?
Oh, yeah.
You've been here for like 2 weeks now, right?
Yeah, I've been here for 2 weeks. We did the 2A Heritage Junior Camp.
Awesome.
Shot with the ROs at the Tri-Gun.
Back to the kids?
Yeah, that was really cool. I got involved with that last year just to I don't actually do any teaching or anything. I just kind of do their promotion for social media and things like that, and try to help them out.
Man, I watched some of the video coming out of there. Some of those kids are like crazy fast.
Yes.
Holy shnikes.
Yes, and I was blown away. So last year I did it, and then when they asked me to come back again this year, I was like, yes, absolutely, I'd love to. I also really enjoy the spirit of the camp. To get young people involved and stuff like that. That definitely helps. But the caliber of youngsters shooting that is just freaking ridiculous. And I was just talking to Brian Payne about that. It's like, imagine if you had 20 years in this game instead of 5.
Jeez. Yeah. To get all those first match shooters, get that experience under your belt, get on the clock.
Well, so let's bring up a nice local name, Dakota Overland.
Right.
She's one of your JP shooters.
Absolutely. I built that gun.
14, right? 15?
She just turned 14.
Just turned 14.
Turned 14. She's been shooting for like at least 2 years.
Yep.
So when she has 20 years in the game, she's going to be 22.
Yep.
Or excuse me, 32. She's going to have like a ton of experience and still be young enough to move around fast and everything.
Dude, she's already starting to beat people too.
Oh, yeah?
Oh, she's just so good.
She beat me in the long range.
Yeah.
Did she?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's getting really good. I mean, she's putting a lot of time into it, but I mean, she's getting really good.
Yeah, so 2A Heritage Camp, all the other activities that were happening at Forest Lake Sportsman's Club, because I'm staying there, plus the the RO shoot, the Tri-Gun, hanging out at Arms and Arms for a day. What else did I do?
Weekly match.
The weekly match, thank you. Shooting the weekly Hawkeye Ignite match, and then coming out here to JP.
Absolutely.
And heading out tomorrow, so good way to end the trip.
Yeah.
Safe travels.
Well, we're just honored that you were able to make it out here and kind of see what we do and see our daily lives here at JP.
Absolutely.
Awesome. Well, I enjoyed it, guys. Thank you.
Yeah, no, thank you.
Thank you.
Once again, a big thanks to Dustin and James for their hospitality and the rest of the JP crew for being so cool when I was there. And before you take off, check out the show notes at 3gunshow.com/episode 145 for links to things that we discussed in the podcast and to sign up on Patreon or purchase your own membership to the 3-Gun Show Prize Club, where you can win a Breda B12i, or to purchase your own 3-Gun Show logo tee, or ladies' tees too, for that matter. As always, this podcast is brought to you by Armalite. Armalite likes the community that we are building here at the 3-Gun Show, and we have partnered up for 2017. To be sure that this is a win for you as well, Armalite has allowed me to get special pricing for listeners on their line of 3-gun rifles, both the 13.5 and the 18-inch, as well as their competition handguards, gas blocks, and tunable muzzle brakes. Now, I've been shooting the 13.5-inch rifle myself and totally digging it, but if that isn't your thing, there's always that 18-inch rifle-length gas gun as well. If you're in the market for a rifle or components to build your own, email me, dave@3gunshow.com, and I will hook you up. I'm back on the road again, traveling the country and bringing the good times back to you in podcast form, and I will have all of this Armalite gear with me at matches for you to check out. So when you see me at a match, just ask. I'll be happy to show you. You can even shoot mine if you like. Now, quick reminder that if you enjoyed this episode of the podcast, subscribe in iTunes, Google Play, Podcast Addict, or wherever you get your podcast content. Just look down at your phone right now, hit the subscribe button, and you'll always get the very latest. Thank you so much for downloading, listening, and subscribing to the show. I'm Dave Hartman, and I'll see you on the range.
If you are finished, unload, show clear.